Now, do any of you have questions?
Well, so when the phone rings, you normally pick up and say hello, but you're saying that if you do that, then they know your gender and all this stuff.
That's right.
So a lot of times you pick it up, and there's no one to say hello, there's no one there, and,
That's right.
but they still know your gender and everything.
That's right.
So
And they know what time you're home.
So when you get, when it rings, just pick it up, don't say anything.
What I do is I broke down and got me an ID, a caller ID, and an answering machine. And I look at that caller ID, and even if it has a 520 number prefix, I don't pick it up unless I know the rest of that number. And then when it comes on my answering machine, I can hear it. And if I know them, I pick it up. But I just don't answer the phone anymore. And I'll tell you, after 2 or 3 months, they'll stop calling. But it will take that long. And I haven't lost any money, but it still takes 3 or 4 or 5 months. They're relentless, and they're robocalls. So that's the best thing to do, is get your an ID and an answering machine, so you know who's calling. Any other questions? Well, I want to thank you all for coming. Yes?
On the back here, you say that freezing your credit reports, or they suggest that you, check your credit report. There's 2 different ones, you can spread them out during the year.
Yes, you spread them out during the year. There's 3 different credit ratings. If you call one a quarter, every 4 months call one, and then in 4 months call the other one, and then in 4 months call the other one, because they give you one free a year, so you don't have to pay for it.
Do you have to give, but what information do you have to give them? Are you giving them?
Those are the true numbers,
Okay.
so you know who you're calling. But they have all your information. They have it anyway. And that's really important. When you get something from the bank, maybe on your computer, or a text. I got a text. This is Chase Bank, and your account has been compromised. Well, it was a 505 area code, so I knew it wasn't my local bank, so I just deleted it. Well, I got a call from the bank manager that night, and he said they have been inundated with all of these calls. And there's 2 different 505 numbers. And I said, okay, has the bank been compromised? He said, no, they haven't been compromised at all. They haven't been hacked. And I thought, well, how about, people direct deposit their Social Security? Has that been hacked? No, that hasn't been hacked. And we finally got it down to cell phones, and it was Verizon cell phone. So we called our man. We have a man in SAD that works closely with Verizon. He called Verizon Security in Seattle, and they said, give us the 2 telephone numbers. He gave them the 2 telephone numbers. They checked it out. They were what we call burner phones, which are phones that you can buy that just throw away, so they can't be traced. They bought them in New Mexico, which is the 505 number. And what they did is Chase Bank traced it to Las Vegas. The criminals were making the calls out of Las Vegas. Now, we don't know the ending of that story, but they knew they were criminals using Verizon cell phones, so hopefully they notified the Las Vegas police. But if you get anything on your computer or your cell phone that says, please call this number, don't you do it. If you have a question about your bank account, you look up in the phone book and use that number. Because if you use that number that comes over on the computer, it's going to go right to a criminal, and then they've got your telephone number. So be aware of that. Any other questions? Thank you for that. Yes?
I had a call a couple of weeks ago, actually it was 3 in one morning, and they said it was the IRS, and to call this certain number before action was taken against me.
Yes.
And I called my daughter as an accountant, and I said, what could this possibly be? She said, scam. Yeah,
It is a
IRS
scam.
will never caught you on.
Right. And at this time of year, of course, it's tax time, so we're all conscious of the IRS. And we've had a rash of the IRS called me, and they said that they sent a warrant out 3 months ago and you haven't replied. If you don't call this number right now, a deputy will be on his way to serve a warrant on you.
It's a threat.
Well, we do not have an IRS division of Pima County Sheriff's Office, sorry. But that's scary. You know, the IRS will never call you. But it looks so legal and they sound so legal. And what if you missed it in the mail? What if you missed that warrant in the mail? Also, it will come up on your email and it will have case number da-da-da-da-da in the subject line. And it said, dear, and it has your name. The IRS has tried to notify you, you have not replied, it's going to go to court, and if you don't show up, it's still going to go to court, and you will have a judgment against you. So if that happens, you get in the phone book or call your CPA just like you did, and ask them, because that's a lot. So thank you for that. Anybody else? Yes?
I have two questions. That bubble that you were talking about?
Yes.
First,
The bubble on the computer.
that's on the,
It's on the very top,
very top.
in the middle. It's like a little glass bubble, like a teeny tiny marble.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the camera. So they can be watching you, watching, and waiting for that crime of opportunity. So close that off.
Also, my ID insurer, I have a ID theft protection.
Mhm.
And they sent me a notice or a phone call saying that I could use one of these credit outfits to check my score,
Right,
my credit every 3 months, like you said.
right.
I think that's legitimate.
It is legitimate.
That's just.
And we're giving you legitimate telephone numbers.
Okay.
Okay, we are giving you legitimate telephone numbers. If you have any questions, call us. Get in the phone book and call us. Okay?
You've heard of Xander Insurance, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Wanna make sure.
There was a story on TV the other day about being hacked and this couple, they have a baby sitting in the room, and this couple heard it, it's like, wake up baby, wake up baby. Someone had hacked into the camera that they had in the room
Ah.
watching their child. And it was mandatory saying, wake up baby, wake up baby. So
They are all over. They are all over. And I don't want you to leave here in a lot of fear. I just want you to leave here informed and aware. And spread this word, because this is really all we can do. There was one case that we know of. The U.S., I think it was the DEA and the FBI, went to Jamaica. They closed down one of these boiler rooms, and they found one man that had ripped off over $300 million worth of money, probably from our country. And they extradited him into Florida. They found him guilty, and you know what his fine is? $100,000. Wow. And I guarantee you that boiler room's up and running again in Jamaica, because that's worth $2 or $3 billion a year to that little country. That's a lot of money. So we have to just protect ourselves. These guys have been around forever. They're not going to go anyplace as long as somebody gives them money. But we do want them out of Green Valley. I don't care if they go to Phoenix, to Florida, to Texas. We don't care. Just get out of here. So that's our job, okay? And I thank you all for showing up and spread the word.